and welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back to the channel, guys, on what is a very big day for this special club. Because yes, Joan Garcia, he is finally here. He has signed for Barca, and we're going to be talking all about that arrival today, and especially how that will affect Marc-Andre Ter Stegen. An update there on his future and his current stance right now, plus the very latest, of course, on Nico Williams. It's on the way for you. Get yourselves ready. And let's do this. But today's extra special video, guys, is coming to you courtesy of Manscaped. Because let me just say, why not celebrate the Joan Garcia signing with 20% off your order simply by using the code TalkFCB at checkout? And let me tell you why. Let me explain my reasoning for that. Because yeah, Joan Garcia, he's an unbelievable keeper. He's a fantastic shot stopper. You can expect from him lightning quick reflexes, top-notch, cutting-edge performances. And that's a lot like Manscaped, because their men's grooming products, they're the very best. You will have a huge amount of quality at your disposal, and they will guarantee you precision, sharpness, cutting edge when you need it most. So, if you want the Joan Garcia of shavers, get yourself a lawnmower from Manscaped, and right now, you can get 20% off too. Because indeed, guys, you might be able to tell, but I am quite excited. I've had several fizzy pops today, and I'm bouncing off the walls because Joan Garcia is here. What a moment for the club. We waited a long time for it, and I'm so excited now to see him in Barca colours, and I quite like Barca's official announcement of him there. They basically said, Catalan product, Barca quality. And I do just wonder, was that a little hit out to Espanyol? You know, he is Catalan, he is somebody here who is very much at home in the city of Barcelona, and he should be here with us. You know, this kind of quality, it's not meant for Espanyol. You are not meant to have players that are this good. That's why he's with us now. And Joan Garcia, he may have been an Espanyol player, and he is the first player to leave to join Barca in 31 years. That's absolutely incredible. It's not an easy move to make across the city, but there's a reason why he has. Because Joan Garcia has always dreamt of playing for Barcelona. And that's a fact. Even as a kid there, he wanted to make this happen. And it's always so special, in my opinion, when these kinds of dreams come true, when these moments, you know, that you've lived your whole life wanting to achieve. He's done it now. He's made it here. And just think how he's feeling right now, the pride that he is feeling, and he will feel putting on that Barcelona kit. But of course, it's a big change in expectation. We shouldn't understate that here. Joan Garcia is coming in to a very different club. You know, the expectations, the spotlight on you as the Barca keeper. It's going to be intense. It's going to be a big change for him. A big change in systems too. Espanyol, of course, are a team who face a lot of shots, but it's in a low block. You know, they are a more defensive team. There is less space there to cover him behind. So Joan Garcia here, he's going to have different problems to solve, but he's incredibly talented. He's a young goalkeeper. He's taking a lot on. He's still improving, in my opinion, and that is really exciting. And that is why I think for him, pre-season is vital. You know, Hansi Flick, he's going to put him straight in there. He's going to give him every available opportunity to settle in, to acclimatise to the system, to really show what he can do. Because the talent is immense. You know, 24 years old, coming off the back of a stunning season in La Liga. The best goalkeeper he was in the league. You can't deny that. And now we have him. We have a great shot stopper who can certainly help us. Because of course, guys, like we said before many times, Joan Garcia is arriving at the club as the number one goalkeeper. He was signed on that premise there when talks were taking place between him and the club in terms of this transfer, with other clubs interested. It was very well known to all parties. This is the plan. He will come in and be the number one goalkeeper next season. And of course that then leads us on to what's now going to happen with Ter Stegen. Now this move has become official. It's a big moment. It almost feels as though here it's a passing of the torch moment. It's a changing of the guard. And that is why we have to talk about what is going on with Ter Stegen right now. Because the plan is reportedly for Marc-Andre Ter Stegen to arrive at pre-season with the rest of the team on July the 13th. So we already have less than a month's time until all of that kicks off. But when he does arrive, Hansi Flick then is going to speak with Ter Stegen, and he is going to explain, I would imagine in no uncertain terms, that you are not part of my plans. He is going to inform Ter Stegen that this season, in the season coming, we are not counting on you. It's nothing personal, it's nothing against you, but in terms of doing the best job that I can, I have chosen to go in a new direction, and that direction, it is Joan Garcia. So that will all be explained to Ter Stegen, probably on the first day of pre-season training, if we follow this plan. Now, the club believes, and I would argue here a little bit optimistically, the club like to think always on the good side of things, which is good to do in life, but whether this will happen, it remains to be seen, because they say that once Ter Stegen has been informed of all of that by Hansi Flick, that okay, he's not going to play, then they think Ter Stegen will reconsider his future at the club. Because right now, he's simply saying, I'm not going. I am not leaving. I'm going to be at Barca. He's actually said that now for week upon week upon week, even at the end of the season when he was asked about speculation, when he was asked about Joan Garcia being signed. Ter Stegen, he looks like he doesn't care. He looks as though he's almost saying, well, nothing's changed for me. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be at Barca. Nothing is changing for me. But I think right here, guys, once we have said, look, you're not going to play. The World Cup is coming. It's coming next summer. You're going to have to play there if you want to be involved at Germany. But I just think Ter Stegen believes he will find a way back in. That is what we are hearing in the media right now, that despite what is going to be said to him by Flick, despite what is being told to him by the club, he honestly believes he'll still end up being the number one, even if he's not part of Flick's plans right now. He thinks that will change as the season goes on. But I just don't see that personally. If Flick has decided now, this is where I'm going, this is the direction of the club, Joan Garcia number one, Szczesny number two, I don't think he changes that plan. And I don't really think anything is going to alter that direction from the club. And a lot of people now, a lot of people, especially from the outside of Barca, are saying that the club are being very unfair to Marc-Andre Ter Stegen. And let me just say this, though. We do not need his permission to sign a new goalkeeper. We certainly don't need his permission to replace him as the number one goalkeeper at the club. We have to act in the best interests of the team. We want to win titles. We want to win the biggest of titles, like the Champions League, that we haven't done now in over a decade. And to do that, we need the best possible team, and quite clearly, something needs to change. Now, I would also look at what happened again back in 2016 and say, Ter Stegen wasn't hanging around, was he? Back in 2016, when he wanted Bravo gone, he went to the club, he made threats, he said, look, I'm going to walk away, I'm going to join Man City, unless you get rid of Bravo and make me the number one. And I just think things work two ways. Football is fickle. That's the way that it is. Football can change overnight. One day you're the hero, one day you're not. That's just the way the business is. And yes, Ter Stegen has given us many, many years of good service. But at the same time, that works both ways too, because Barca, year upon year upon year here, of that service, have paid him incredibly well. He has been the highest paid goalkeeper in the world. So let's not act here as though all of these years Ter Stegen has been playing for free, out of the goodness of his heart. We have paid him extraordinarily well, when at times those performances haven't always matched the contract. So I just think here, we are within our rights to replace him. Now, on the contract though, I agree. There's nothing really that we can do. If he doesn't want to leave, there's no obligation on him to do that. He has a contract. At the end of the day, we gave it to him. We signed off on it. We handed in that deal. So I agree there that with the contract, nothing you can ask him to do. If he wants to stay, even if it means he doesn't play, you can't really argue with that because we handed him the deal. But he won't be playing. I think that's the point that we have to hammer home here. Does he honestly want to sit on the sidelines? Does he honestly want to risk and jeopardise playing for his country at the World Cup? These are the questions that he's going to have to ask himself. Because if he thinks he's going to get back in this team, if he thinks suddenly Joan Garcia isn't going to play, isn't going to be the number one, that's not the plan. Flick, Deco, Laporta, they have all been crystal clear this summer. We need a change in the goalkeeping department, and that is what is happening. Because speaking of that very big Marc-Andre Ter Stegen contract at the club, well, his future could also be significant when it comes to Nico Williams. Because as we know, Barca still, as of right now, are not operating within the 1-for-1 rule. It's so close. I believe eventually it will probably happen. But we still need departures, and we will still definitely need this summer a big departure, a big earner to leave the club. Now, Ter Stegen definitely fits that profile, which is why the club would like him to go. They can't force him, they cannot tear up that deal, but they would like him to accept that he's not going to play, that he's not going to be involved, and if he wants to play football, to leave the club this summer. Because now the Joan Garcia deal is wrapped up, all attention, all of our focus, it is turning to Nico Williams. He is now our outright number one priority. And I think it's fascinating to see how quickly everything has changed this summer here. Nico Williams now rated and prioritised above Luis Diaz, of course, who for many months here, he's been the man the club wanted. And apparently Barca feel as though Nico has made much more of an effort this summer there in the way that he's come to the club, he's organised meetings, he's pushing to join here, he's putting pressure on the right areas, whereas Diaz, Barca feel, hasn't really done enough, hasn't really angled himself there to try and get out and try and force his way maybe out of Liverpool. That's understandable, but at the end of the day, we are now going for Nico. Because this morning, Deco took a flight to Ibiza. The media originally actually thought that he was flying to Bilbao. That didn't happen in the end. And over on TalkFCB News, as we discussed, we thought Deco wanted to go somewhere else. But hey, it didn't happen. In the end, he ended up in Ibiza. But that was no coincidence at all, because that is actually where Nico Williams right now is on holiday. Who would have thought? I'm sure that there is part of the trip, but that is not the only one, because actually Deco is going to be meeting with somebody else who's on holiday in Ibiza. Popular destination, isn't it? Hansi Flick. He is on holiday right now, but clearly he's not having any downtime. He's still thinking. That mind is ticking over here about the summer transfer window, and he will sit down there with Deco to basically just evaluate where the club are at right now. You know, what's happening, what's going on, how are our targets looking, and maybe even just discussing, you know, Nico's the priority, but is there anything else that could be done? Is there anything else that needs to be done in this transfer window? So that's something there to keep an eye on that meeting. But things are moving quickly. In terms of Nico Williams here, over a span of just a few days, things have really started to move and started to come together. And Nico actually would like to inform Athletic Club of his decision to leave before pre-season. So he wants to act here very quickly. He wants to get in there and tell Athletic, look, I'm going. I am going to leave the club. It's going to be an exit much like Joan Garcia from Espanyol. And again, for me, that's also very different to last summer. Because remember last summer things dragged on. You know, we didn't know if Nico had made up his mind. He was on holiday with Yamal. We thought that he was going to be all open to coming, but it dragged on. He then went back to Bilbao. He went to Athletic. He participated there in the pre-season. And suddenly then he started to move further and further away from Barca. He doesn't want to do that this time around. He has no intention of going back to Bilbao. He wants to tell them that he wants to leave. But I think before that, Barca need to make a few moves. We need to get a little bit further on in this transfer just to make sure that we are in the right position. But things are going well. Things are moving quite quickly from Barca's point of view. By Barca standards, we are sprinting right now in this deal. But let's wait and see what happens, guys. Because this market, it is very much alive. So that there is the full roundup today, guys, on the day of Joan Garcia to Barcelona. Please do let me know all of your thoughts in the comments down below. Let's celebrate his arrival. And of course, you can celebrate with 20% off your Manscaped order using the code TalkFCB at checkout, guys. Thank you here for watching, for all of your support. And I will see you soon with plenty more Barca news. But until next time, as always, Vejka, El Barça!